Right, Real as It Gets, episode 8. I'm your host, Callum Hickey. Today I have with me Danny Alan Page, owner of Gravity 7, which is a digital marketing agency. Right, so I'm going to talk first about how I met you. I met you through the Manor. It's the place where I work, and so we both know Charlie Watts. Charlie is a bit of a ledge. He keeps me accountable each week.
Yeah.
So I told him about the goals I've got. He's like, cool, I'm going to check in with you every week.
Yeah.
With a little half hour. And he mentioned you first. He was like, "Oh, I know this guy, Danny Page.
Okay.
I'm going to get him in for a workshop." And he said, "That's on you. You've organised that." I'm like, "All right, cool." And then you come in that day, and bro, you had us all like that. Just literally, like, just the confidence that was coming out of you. And yeah, the workshop. I remember. How did it go? He was asking about who has a big goal that they haven't sort of chased up on yet.
Yeah.
And I felt like a school kid. He was like, "Come on, anyone answer?" And I was like, "Me."
No one was answering.
Yeah, I was like, "Me." He was like, "What is it?" I was like, "I'm going to write a book." And he was like, "Okay, have you started yet?" And he kind of stuck it on me, but in a good way. And then just what you taught me in that workshop, which I'm hoping to talk about loads today, which other people can take from this podcast, is that there's no time like the present. Get on your fucking goals and get started. And since then, I've left, I've looked up ways how to write a book, I've jotted down ideas, I've just started putting pen to paper sort of thing, so I'm working on it, maybe not as fast as I'd like, but yeah, I've started, and because of what you've done for me just in that one workshop, I'm hoping that through this podcast, anyone that listens does the exact same thing. So that's how I met you, through the Manor.
Yeah.
So talk to me first about how you got into your career.
Oh, career-wise, so I started my career as football.
Yeah.
My background is football, so I used to play for Brentford.
Yeah.
So going through the ranks, trying to make it as a pro, and my career ended pretty abruptly.
Yeah.
New manager came in, just got rid of the whole reserve squad, and I never really got a chance again. I played semi-pro for years, so I was always kind of like fishing around, trying to replicate success.
Yeah.
You know, when you get kicked out of like professional sport, you're like a little bit lost. Got into personal training.
You've done personal training?
Yeah, it's personal training. It's personal training business. And I remember seeing a pal of mine. I think I've told you this story. Drove past in like a Porsche.
Oh yeah.
Converse. I was like, Jesus, what is that?
Oh, it's that Batmobile.
Yeah, I used to go out in like nightclubs with this guy, and he was just he's a cool guy.
Just like the average Joe kind of thing.
Yeah. He was never average. He was out there. He was always doing bits. He wasn't earning money. Right? So he's obviously doing really well. And I basically just begged him for a job for years, and he just wouldn't give me a job.
What? Not even knowing what it was? Just like, give me a job.
Well, like he's my friend of a friend. We knew each other quite well, and we started going around his house, and we started doing goals with him.
Yeah.
And he kind of introduced me to the world of personal development, and Jim Rohn and Tony Robbins and goal setting.
Oh, mate, Tony Robbins. Yeah. I listened to all that myself.
So I'll never forget, we used to go to his house, and he used to have a vending machine in his house. And I was like, that's cool. It's quirky.
Yeah.
And you'd open it, he's like, I want to show you something. And you'd open up his wardrobe, and he would have like a vision board on his wall, inside of his wardrobe.
Charlie's put me onto that as well, the vision board. Yeah.
So I started just replicating and asking better questions, like, if you're not, people talk about your network and your surrounding, but the only thing that leads to is you actually asking yourself better questions, because it rubs off, right? And like, well, why can't I have that? How do I go about it? So I started asking myself these questions. I want more. I want to become more. I'm seeing someone that was at the same stage that I was, now achieving greatness. I was like, I want something. And I found out the reason why he wouldn't give me a job where he worked was because I used to go out with a girl, like 7 years into a relationship. It wasn't going anywhere. It was just comfortable. And I'll tell you a story. I used to come home from his house, do a vision board. I used to put things up on the wall in the house, and she'd be like, why are you copying out? Why are you copying out for? Why are you copying this? You're not going to achieve this.
Just putting it down straight away, yeah?
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, interesting. So I know instantly we ain't going the same
way. Yeah.
And I found out that she was the reason why he wouldn't give me a job, because we all knew each other.
Okay.
Because she's negative. I was like...
What, so did he assume that you was going to be like her?
Well, no, he just said, like, I can't have you. You're not going to do what you say
while you're with her,
while you're going home in that negative relationship.
Yes.
So, mate, I made the call real quick. As soon as I knew that's what it was...
Bye, Felicia.
Bye, Felicia, because we were more friends anyway. It kind of got comfortable. And mate, if you've got anyone in your life right now that is jeopardising your happiness and your own greatness, sack the relationship.
Yeah, I agree.
And I don't care who it is. Like I've done that with my mum. Like I've distanced myself with my mum certain times because of the relationship we've had. Certain times I don't like some of her habits or her negative thinking. I'll always be there for her, love her, but I can't rub shoulders with you every day. And it's not as always easy as that.
No, of course. I've had to have a talk with my dad over the same thing. Just a talk, not like falling out, but he's from that old school era where they're not really on taking risks. So if I was to say I want to do this, like, oh, you want to be careful doing that. And it's just constantly, it's like, fucking hell, give me a chance to do it.
So, what'd you do?
Yeah.
What'd you do? Because I wouldn't share my goals with them. Because I can't allow you to tell me, based on your own worldview and your own fears about life and your own environment, where I go.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck this, I'm breaking that mould, absolutely breaking it. And I just was like, went full into sales.
Did you find that that's distant from a lot of mates growing up as well?
So no, so one of my football mates all went off and done their own thing. But one of my best pals, we went into the same industry.
Okay, nice.
So we've kind of followed
gassing each other up sort of thing to just do better.
We went and moved in together. Yeah. So our house was all like personal development, and we just became, I guess, just obsessed. Yeah,
it's true though. You're as good as the company you keep. So why would you have shit company around you?
Yeah, so we just became obsessed and just trying to get better every day. But I've got to tell you, in selling, I was shit.
But do you know what? I remember you saying this in the workshop. I can't wait to hear the story of this because yes, you obviously you still got loads to level up. But from seeing it from my point of view, you're at the top of your game now. But I like that when you came in the workshop. Normally, a lot of people when they rise to the top, they want their story to sound really cool. And you told me about I was shitting myself when I made my first few sales. I was panicking, I was sweating. I was like, fuck, that sounds like how I was when I first started doing PT. So
I couldn't have sat here 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I couldn't have sat here confidently.
Just what? You mean in front of the camera?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't talk about myself 4 or 5 years ago. I'm terrible at fucking loads of things. Like I continuously beat myself up, and like even my football career ended because I was afraid to step on the football pitch. Imagine that.
I listened to that podcast the other day.
My whole career, I went down the pan. I don't care what it entails me. That was the pivotal moment where I said, I'm too afraid, and I chose not. I kind of like made most out of an injury. Captain got injured in the warm-up. He's like, you're going to go play. I was in the tea room making teas for like all the management. He's like, I was like, just bowling.
Yeah.
I never got a chance again.
Oh man, that must have burned though.
I love it.
Yeah.
Because now I'm like, it's such a powerful thing for me that whenever I I get that fearful, can I, can't I? Like, I'm just like, nah. Yeah. I just go straight to that place because I can't live with that regret.
No, I don't blame you. Yeah.
I just cannot live. I will never take myself to that place of regret again. Like, I've played the most ultimate price, right? That was my dream to be a footballer. So, I'm terrible at loads of things. Like selling, I was garbage. I was shit. Nearly got sacked in my first couple of weeks 2 or 3 times because I was so afraid to speak to people on the phone.
So what you went? How did you make the transition from personal training to sales?
So I got bombed from football, played semi-pro and done my level 3.
Yeah.
And I was doing personal training for about 3 years, 4 years.
Did you love it at the time, or was it just sort of something to do? Because some people, it's not for everyone, which is fair enough.
I just wasn't that good. We set up a business. So me and my pal that followed each other's path.
Oh yeah.
So we had a business, Jumpstart Fitness. Bloody hell. We used to do boot camps in the park.
Yeah.
We was earning alright money, but I didn't love it.
Yeah.
I knew I was very early on. I knew I was capped in earning potential because with the online thing didn't really exist back then.
Yeah.
So I was like, how am I gonna? It's not enough. And what I really didn't like was the unsociable hours.
Yeah, it is because like you're either double early in the morning, then you've got this massive gap during the day, and then you have to either come back in the evening to make more money, or then you just finish early. Like
that's what I was doing.
It's a tricky one.
And I was like, listen, there's more. And I'm not putting down any PTs and coaches. I just have been in that situation. Now it would be different because I would have the online.
I make you right though. I feel like eventually I'm going to have to go down the online route. It's just smarter to go down that route.
No, you have to.
Yeah.
You have to if you want to earn more.
Yeah.
because you're paying time for money, right? You're swapping that time for money. Unless you're going to charge stupid prices or you start building team, you have to add. I was saying this to Jason, who we're going to have on an episode. How many income streams does your business have? People just see PT or coaching as like, oh, that's what I do, I'm a PT. Okay, well, what else can you do?
Yeah.
Well, you can do online. Okay, what else can you do? Workshops. Can you get affiliates with other brands? Can you do modelling? Like, you're a business, but you just see it as, okay, no, I'm going to charge this amount. Get 4, 5, 6 different income streams. Doesn't mean you have to push all of them.
No, of course.
But if you've got 5 or 6 income streams coming into your business, you're not just the guy swapping that hour for a pound note.
Yeah.
But I don't think many coaches think like a business. They think like a service provider because they love the sport. You can buy art. No, that ain't getting you retired, mate.
It's true. It's true. It's true. It's funny.
It's not
so
getting you retired. So start thinking.
Even if you knock your pipe out and do loads of PTs, one, which ain't going to be sustainable. If you're trying to knock out 70, 80 PTs,
No.
you're going to be fucked.
Knackered.
But still, for the money you could potentially be earning, you could half the time, quarter of the time, online, you just got to build yourself up so that they want to buy your product, sort of thing. So it's just
build personal brand. You could do group sessions. There's so much you can do. But treat it like a business. Don't treat it like a hobby that you get paid from.
Yeah.
Which is, I would say, 99% of online, or coaches do.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm chucking 99 at that's an assumption, right? They're not real stats.
And then from the boot camps, so you weren't making enough money, you got into sales with your pals, and then
Yeah,
did you start business with him? You weren't working for, or did you both go into the same company together?
we went in the same company.
Okay.
And I mean, I sat down in this interview, I remember being so nervous, and looked at the board, guys were earning like 100 grand, 80 grand a month.
A month?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
And I was like, oh, this is real. And this interview I was sitting there, I'm all prepped, like, you know, the normal interview questions, where do you see yourself, all that. I've never had a job interview in my life at this point. And he just rambled at me. It was like, this is what's expected, this is what's expected, this, and gave me the job. And I was like, I walked out just like, oh man, I'm done, I'm made.
Yeah.
Little did I know how hard the job was.
Tell them the story as well about the phone calls. I love that.
Yeah, so obviously a lot of it was tele sales, so it was wine broking, and you had to make between 150, 200 calls a day.
Yeah, fucking hell.
You get scripts, and you're kind of like, your job is to get interest. And I was petrified. I was petrified to speak to people on the phone. I've never been in an office ever.
Yeah.
I've just been in football, PT. So I was so scared that I used to hang up on the prospects, the leads. So I'd pretend they was on the phone. So it'd be ringing, and I'd be like, oh, hey, oh, you're not interested. And the phone's ringing, and I'd be like, oh, okay, never mind. And I put the phone down. They haven't picked up. And then about a week in, the manager comes over to me and goes, mate, what are you doing? And I was like,
embarrassed.
what do you mean? It's like, you're not even listening to every one of your calls. You've spoke to about 5 people this week.
No.
But what was I even thinking? How was I going to... So imagine I've got this wicked...
Because surely it'd work on commission though, anyway. So even if you're hanging up on them, you'd only be making your base.
It made no
Yeah,
sense.
exactly.
It was the whole fear taking over my decisions. Irrational thinking based on fear.
Yeah.
And I was like, no way am I going back to that place. So I just started becoming just going in on my craft again. Who's the people in this room that are earning the most money?
Yeah.
Okay, well, what are they doing? I'm going to start having lunch with them, even if they allow me to. What are they wearing? What are they saying? What pen have they got? I remember they had Mont Blanc pens, right?
Oh yeah, the price is
Yeah, so I was like, okay, well, I'm not writing with this big no more. If you get one of those pens, what are they going to cost? 200, 300 pounds. I'm like,
for a fucking pen.
for a pen. So the first thing I got was a Mont Blanc pen, I remember, in a diary. And I
Swearing it all proud.
literally just like, okay. And then they take you seriously. It's like, okay, well, none of these other juniors are prepared to do that.
Okay.
I would like just do my wages on like a tailored suit. And then I'll be like, well, I've got to go and then find the money on the, like, I'd force myself into a corner where I would have to come out swinging.
Yeah.
So fear wasn't there no more. It was all more like the pressure of having to get it done to then earn the money that I needed to live. And I was like, okay, this is interesting.
Yeah.
And it started to work, started getting traction with it. And yeah, and earn a few bob from.
So my next question, knowing what you know now, how if someone's starting out in sales or any career, how would you deal with fear? Because you know, fear does, it grips your fucking brain. And like we were just talking about, you said that you were scared to answer the calls. I remember when I first started as a PT, you know your shit.
Yeah.
But when you're put in a position
Yeah.
where you're afraid, all of a sudden your brain gets muddled. You're like, you start questioning yourself, am I good at this? You get into that imposter syndrome kind of thing.
Yeah, it's big. I used to suffer imposter syndrome. I still do sometimes. I think everyone does. I think they'd be lying if they don't. How would I deal with fear? Acknowledge it's real, as in like it's a real feeling, emotionally.
Yeah.
You are going to feel all the effects of fear.
Fucking hell too, right?
Right? But desire, there's a bit of reflection in there for me. But I'm asking myself daily, what is it I want? What are the things that are going to help me get there? How badly do I want it? What am I prepared to sacrifice? So this, to me, might feel uncomfortable. But if I'm saying I want to be a multi-million-pound agency owner, I want to be able to run the Ironman, I want to be able to best dad ever, all of these things that are embedded in my mind,
Yeah.
I want to help millions of people with my message and impact them. Well, I'm not going to not do that by having podcasts and feeling uncomfortable.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's almost like I have to repeat these things to me myself every single day on the things that I really want, who I really want to become, and then make sure that the desire, the pot of desire, is so full that when I feel the feelings of fear, just slap it up.
And how would you goal set? Because you're big on the goal setting, and this is what helped me when I've still got the notes in here somewhere.
Yeah.
About you broke it down into 5 steps, I'm sure, the goals.
5 steps. But before you even go there, most people don't know what they want.
Yeah. Okay.
So most of us live in a state of negativity or just complete unaware that they're like a leaf blowing around in the wind. They might have feelings and thoughts of things that they want, but that's it. It's only when you start attaching a plan to that and you make commitments, the universe starts going, okay, this dude's actually, or dude is actually serious. So first thing to do when it comes to goals is actually sit down and ask yourself, what the fuck do I want from my life that will make me happy, make me fulfilled, and start writing lists. So the areas that you want to make lists around are financial. You can make your own list. There's no fucking rules.
Yeah.
But for me, health, family, financial, career, spiritual, material, social.
How important would you say the material one is?
It is as important as all of these things are drivers. So for you, I'm not going to sit and say material is the most important thing. It all depends on you.
Yeah.
I might say, do you know what I mean? You ain't going to achieve that book. I'd put that down as a fucking goal. And I'd say, I'm going to look down in his face with my book and say, buy a copy.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Or you might say, I want to buy a house.
Yeah.
I might want to drive around in a new car. If that gives you that feeling of excitement and fucking hell, that hunger, that burning desire, lean into that. Lean into that. But I can't tell you what is the most important one or not. It's all based on your own self-reflection.
If anything that gives you a feeling of excitement, that should be your drive to achieve
Yeah,
your goals.
so there's no right or wrong with this, but you have to spend the time asking yourself the right questions. What is it I want? Why do I want that? Why is it important to me? Who else can benefit from it? It's another big one. Like me making promises to my kids and shit like that. Goals around looking my missus in the eyes saying, "Oh, I'm going to do this house."
Yeah.
That's big for me. I get emotional. I could get emotional now talking about it.
Yeah.
And it's that deep. I will obsess about these things to the point that if I spoke about it too much now, I'd cry.
Because I follow you in your stories, and you've been doing up your house recently, haven't you? Like
Yeah.
getting the office in check and stuff like that. It looks fucking slick. It's good.
So that was a goal that I set. I had that goal for 2 years, having the money to be able to do the house up, like how we envision it. I don't give a shit about the house really. It's not like I tell you, this is crazy. The picture I had in my head wasn't monetary, it wasn't any of that. It was me sitting in this office in my garden, which had a gym in it, and it was like a gentleman's club. You sit, and I looked through the double doors. I'm looking into my house with the double doors, and my missus is in there, my kids are at the table, and I'm just like, that's the only vision I had in my head for the whole thing.
That's sick, though. And that gym, but you got it.
But I could send you a picture of me sitting in that chair in my office like that now. Like literally, I think I've got to do the paving.
Yeah.
I obsessed over that for 2 years.
Because you're a fucking high achiever, aren't you? Because what's the challenge you've got for yourself now? You're doing the Ironman, right?
Doing the Ironman, stupidest decision I've ever made.
I see your story the other day. You was an hour and a half on a bike, but you was only half hour in. You was like, this is long,
I
man.
had a coaching session with Jason, and luckily
Yeah.
I got the times wrong, so I had to get off the bike after an hour. I was like, I got
But that's good.
4
That
hours
just shows you how driven you are. Because you're like, there's not one part of me that wants to do this. I was
I'm
half hour in. You was soaked, and you was like, but I'm going to soldier on.
It's
Let me get
just
it done.
shit, man. It's just shit. There is no so the Ironman thing. There's no ego attached to that. I don't feel great doing it. I'm hating the training.
What made you choose that out of all that fitness challenges?
Just all of the. I done a walk around Isle of Wight.
Yeah.
You have to get around the Isle of Wight challenge. It's like 106k.
How long did you get to? How long did you have to do it?
Right. However long it takes. It took me
So
21 hours.
Fucking hell.
Right.
Busted.
Through the night, and then you had a head torch. You're going through forest. Oh, it's so bad. And I got a little bit of a bug, and I said I'd always wanted to do the Ironman. I watched the Iron Cowboy.
Oh yeah, I've heard of it. I haven't seen it myself though. Is it good?
Yeah, and I was like, it says something in there where like if you do an Ironman, you're in the top 3% or something, or fittest on the.
So you heard that and he's like, I'm doing it.
Can I do that? Let me give it a go. But I'm very much, when it comes to fitness, I very much wing it.
Yeah. Okay.
So I just rely on resilience and
What's
determination.
the mileage on it all though? You've got to do. Is it a full marathon you got to run?
I don't know the swim. I think the swim is 3 or 4k,
Fucking hell, man.
or 3 miles maybe. 180k bike, and then a marathon. It's the bike that I can't do. The bike scares me, and I've got to spend the most amount of time on it. But I don't see myself as a high achiever. I don't even. It doesn't even come into my brain.
It's just the way you are, sort of thing.
No, it's not. It's just. People might look at it. I don't even think I'm getting started. I'm actually pissed at the stage I'm at, in the age I'm at, because I'm 37.
So then, would you put that? The only reason I say that is because I do it. I'm harsh on myself a bit. Do you feel like that could be the imposter syndrome kind of things?
Maybe.
Because I feel like for a PT, I should be here and I should be there, but then I'm thinking, am I either just being harsh on myself, or am I just subconsciously comparing myself to others? Like that's what I'm thinking. But that's me.
Yeah, I think I do. I don't think I necessarily compare so much with others. I compare on where I know I could be.
Yeah. Okay.
In terms of my own output.
Hmm.
So, had I have pulled the trigger faster on some other things, other decisions, I don't beat myself up. It's a balance. I used to beat myself up way too much. Like, to the point
Oh,
of
I've got through stages of that, big time. Yeah.
detrimental. So I never let it go to that point. I try and make it a driver now. So you've got a push and a pull when it comes to goal setting, right? So is something pulling you towards it, or is it pushing you towards it and driving you, right? And sometimes negative emotions is just as equally as a good driver as a positive one.
Yeah.
So I use that. I'm like, okay, well, come on then. You've got to do it in a short amount of time now, because you can't be working till you're 45 and it's not going down that road. So I can use it as a driver. But yeah, fully gas yourself up when you achieve things that you said you would, but also have real talk with yourself when your output. There's no point you telling me I could be here as a coach, but your output
It's not matching that effort.
isn't matching the effort.
Yeah.
Then be pissed. Be pissed, but then you've got to take action.
Because I went in that goal workshop with you, I said to, John Tran, he was there next to me. He was like, he said it to me while he was talking, like, give yourself a date when you want to write that book then. I was like, all right, cool, my 30th birthday, I'm going to have it done.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, you said it now. So I'm like, fuck, now I've got to.
Why 30?
I have no clue. If anything, that's the lazy side of me thinking, right, you give yourself a year and a half, you give yourself a year and a bit.
And that's another thing, because I would have been a year and a bit.
You need that long.
But yeah, why not in 6 months?
Fair enough.
Unless you're going on holiday.
No, that's fair.
No, but I'm just saying.
No, but I agree. I'm 29 in June, and then that gives me from then.
But ask the question, and I'm not knocking John Tran at all, but if you said that to me, I would just ask genuinely, why not in 6 months?
No, right.
And you might go, oh, I've got this, or you might go, it's not really that important, or you might go,
I have to be honest with you, I could put the time, I'm PTing and I'm busy, I'm teaching classes, but I'm not that busy where I can't dedicate fucking at least 4 hours a week to a book, so.
But again, it goes to desire. You've got to weigh up all these things on a daily basis. Desire, how much do I want it? How important is it to me? Then you weigh up, is that going to take out too much of my own pocket or earning potential? You've got to weigh up all these things.
Yeah.
But having someone around you that will go, well, why not 6 months? All of a sudden your brain goes, hold on, why not 6 months?
Yeah, it's true.
But if someone's not, and this is again going back to network, if someone's not asking you those questions, you're not asking yourself those questions, then you just live in a state of not tomorrow, but the urgency is not necessarily there.
Yeah. I'd say, yeah, I'm definitely like that. I'm kind of thinking it will happen.
Yeah.
But I need to push more and be like, that's going to happen. And it needs to happen by this time.
That's
Do you get off days?
all the time.
Yeah. How do you do with your off days?
I get off days all. I've had an off start to the year.
Really?
Yeah, because I put so much energy into the house that I didn't have another goal lined up. So when I accomplished it, I was a little bit flat. I didn't really enjoy it. If I'm open with you, it's only last month I have. So yeah, I felt flat. I didn't feel myself. I just didn't feel energetic. I have those feelings all the time.
Yeah.
Be more obsessed with, get more obsessed with the daily actionable things you need to do.
Yeah.
Than how am I feeling today? Like I'm not one to be like, okay, let me check in with my body and reset. No, like regardless, I've got food to put on the table, got to provide. There's a certain standard that I have to do every day. Where I feel about it is irrelevant. It becomes a checklist, and I just make sure that I'm doing the daily KPIs that I need to.
And it's work for you, so it's obviously...
It's hard, because the difference between where you are and where you want to be is how you take action primarily on the things you don't want to do.
Okay, I like that.
So where you are now and where you want to be, there are things every day that you should be doing that you're not. You're avoiding. You think they're boring. You don't want to. It might be books, it might be lead gen, it might be all of these things. You're putting them off. If you attack those things, you might hate them. If you attack them like you love them, you're going to progress.
How would one find you to coach if they want to coach with you?
Funny story, I started coaching last year.
Yeah.
And I went from like 0 to 15 clients. And honestly, I found it so hard.
Really?
Because I care too much. So your goals become my goals. And then if you're not doing it, I'm on
frustrated. Yeah.
I'm frustrated, but I'm on you.
Jason said that though, because when I was asking about you, before I knew you, before the even workshop, and I was just picking his brains, he was like, yeah, I'll check in with Danny. And I was asking him, and I was like, I want to get on board with him. He's like, yeah, you just got to be kind of concrete about what you want to do. I was like, why? What do you mean? He goes, he don't have no shit. Like, if you're not hitting your goals, you're saying, well, maybe this ain't going to work, me and you ain't going to work sort of thing. You have to be concrete about what you know you want and be willing to put in the work. And I was like, okay, cool.
Well, I've only got 3 clients now. And that isn't out, like Jay's signed up for a year, the other person signed up for a year, and someone else done 6 months. Because I've given so much energy, I actually slowed me down on some of my own goals.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
So, I'm not at a stage where I can chill out yet. I'm still grinding to get my agency to where it needs to be.
Yeah.
So, it's a balancing act. But how would they find me as a person or as an experience?
As an experience.
I think I've got humility and empathy, but I won't allow you to chat shit to yourself. And what I mean by that is that you can't lie to yourself and you can't lie to me. Because, and I think a lot of people do, they're not self-aware enough to be like, no, I'm calling myself out here, that's weak. That language is poor, I'm going to try and do it later. Or that's poor, that's piss poor. Like you've just told me that you want to become one of the top coaches in the UK and you want to do this and you want to be the best father, but you can't get out of bed at this time. Yeah.
That's going to lead me on to my next question actually, because I see your days start really fucking early, don't they? Because you're a family man, right? You got a work-life, family balance, all in all, and you're training for the Ironman.
Yeah.
What does a normal day look like for you? Because I know your Sundays are mad early, isn't it? You get up at like 5 AM on Sunday?
Most days I'm 5 or 5:30, not to be a hero or the 5 AM club. I try to get my training in so it doesn't eat into my family time.
Yeah, that's priorities, that's nice.
That's it. So, and mate, I've been honest with you, I've completely fucked this up in the past. Again, life lessons, where I would be doing too much work, too much training and neglect my missus and my kids.
Yeah.
And then the balance is off, right? They're not fulfilled, I'm not fulfilled. So now, family is key. So I train super early in that morning. I'll write down my daily KPIs, first thing, and then I'll train, which is Ironman at the moment.
When's the due date for that? Anyway?
4th of July.
Okay.
And then typically I train, come in, spend a good solid hour and a half with the family, no interruptions in terms of phone and all that social media bullshit. And then I just go into agency world, which is managing people, managing projects and personal branding. I normally had dinner with the family around about 7. Or 6, 7, only due to COVID. That before I'd be uptown. So now, because I'm at home, I can have dinner with them, which has been amazing. And then I might sneak in another training session, or it's just chilling with the missus.
Going on to the social media stuff.
Yeah.
Was it who someone told me here, or you may have told me actually? You went from 1,000 followers to 50,000
56
in a year, less than a year.
Yeah.
How? That's like, I know I have some fitness influencers listening to this. Like, what? Say again.
So most people, especially in fitness, they let ego drive their social media, right? So we're an agency. One of the big things for me was we're selling marketing to companies, but we're not doing marketing ourselves. So I've got no example of us doing it. And I was like, that's incongruent to what we preach, right? So I was like, right, fuck it. Next year I'm going to build my own personal brand. And yeah, we built on Instagram. Every single day for a year, we posted a piece of content which was purely value-based. So giving. No selling, just giving all the gems, secrets, hacks, tips to the community. And people find out, they follow, they share, they like, they comment.
Literally just roll through like that.
Just went through from there.
Was it 100 days of value, you said?
I've done 100 days of value. I think I got to 10k and I continued it on throughout the year.
Nice. Okay.
But I would say to anyone doing it, 100k, 100.
Because I listened to one of your podcasts and you was talking about, which I know I'm guilty of as well. But you let your feed. You're worried so much about your feed looking clean and nice, which is true. Like, you look and you don't want it to sort of, that goes off with that and stuff like that. But if that shitty post that you think shitty has loads of value, that wipes out all these fucking nice pictures and stuff.
It's fickle, right? Because fitness. As a space, it's Wild West. There's so many people.
Yeah.
So what you have to realise is that 9 times out of 10, you are the USP for your business.
Okay.
But what most people do in that space is they hide behind pretty pictures and like nicely designed carousels. Whereas if you show up with a bit of personality, a bit of character, and some fucking value, they're like, hold on, who is this dude?
Yeah.
But it's like that James Smith guy, that's all he does.
Yeah.
He's just got character.
Yeah,
I don't know what he's like as PT, but I just
don't know.
he's just breaking the mold.
Yeah. Because that's what it was, he just put his personality onto videos and then all of a sudden just skyrocketed up, didn't it?
Yeah, so there's an element of you have to own that, and then what comes from that might be a bit of strategy where you're making things look the way they need to be aesthetically on Instagram. But don't do that before you've got the first thing, which is like, who are you? What do you stand for? What is your USP? What makes you you? Like, are you super technical? Are you just fucking a lad and you have a bit of banter? Or are you, like, lean into whatever it is about you?
Yeah.
Because that's what used to make me afraid, getting on camera. I used to be petrified.
Oh, man, I had to practice and do the practicing, like the trial runs on the stories. I hate that. Because, again, though, it comes down to, I would watch the video back and think, oh, no, I sound alright, I look alright, I know what I'm talking about. But then you start thinking, am I going to look like a cunt to someone else? Well, they're going to be judging me, and then you think, maybe I shouldn't put it up. And then it got to the point where I was like, fuck that, man.
Well, you're being selfish.
Yeah.
In that moment in time, and me, I was doing it, being selfish, because what you're thinking about is you, your feelings.
And how you look at that as well, yeah.
Whereas if you go, hold on, what about them? What about my customers or my potential customers? What can I give them that's going to help them through their day? As soon as you flip that switch in your head, you turn, I don't care how I look. I'm providing the service. I want to help that person. And it helps me anyway, push through that kind of discomfort of, you're not making content for other, I say it to Jay all the time, you're not making content for other coaches. They're not going to buy anything from you.
Yeah. Do you know what, that James Smith has said one thing actually, which I agree with. personal trainers worry so much about other personal trainers when they're the one person on the planet that won't buy your service.
Makes no sense.
And it's true. Like you think, oh, what's that person going to think? It's like, they don't give a shit.
Do not give a shit. They're never going to part with money. So, going like you got to just put the customer first in your mind and genuinely think about how you can help them. Well, going back to the goal stuff, you've got to become it's never ending, bro.
Yeah.
This goal stuff and this life, it's not about, oh, I've got a goal tick, I've won. It's like every single day.
So imagine you've got to scrunch up the vision board and start again. If once you've got that, no, it's just chasing.
Have it up there, tick it off. Okay, what else do we want? Like one of the basic human needs is growth. Everybody wants it, whether they admit it or not. And growth doesn't need to be financial. It could be spiritual. It could be whatever it is. But if you're not growing as an individual, you're not going to be fully fulfilled.
Yeah.
So yes, set the goal. Yes, have a conversation with what you want, but then you have to then attach that to a plan, an actionable plan, which is your next couple of steps that's going to help you get towards achieving this goal. And you might not have a clue. Like John Tran, he asked you, what you can do next. You know, like you're like,
I freeze on the spot. I was like, fucking hell, shit, maybe I need to get this started.
Yeah, so you just write down what the next steps are. More steps will appear. Just get the next step.
Yeah.
It might be go on Google and find out what this even is.
Yeah.
Like you might not know. And then the biggest one that will drive you forward is commitment. Find ways to commit to that goal.
Yeah. So just get organised and sort of set time per week for that specific goal, right?
Yeah, you can set a date and time that you'd achieve it, but for me that's wishy-washy.
No, is it like each week, certain time towards that goal?
You've got to dedicate time towards the goal, but look for ways other than that to commit. Like that book for you hasn't been done because you haven't committed to it.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So go and commit to a publisher. Go and find out if they're writing coaches. Go and find a way to financially commit. If you haven't got no money, emotionally commit. That will force you to take action. So if you're scared of something, you're putting it off. Cameraman, for example. I was petrified of getting on camera. I spent £1,000 on camera gear. It sat in my cupboard for a year.
It's gathering dust.
Yeah. My friend came round, she made me go in the garden, and she was like, no, you've been talking about this year, put the camera on me.
See, they're the friendship. To be fair, I'm grateful. I've got very good mates like that.
Yeah.
To that extent, it's just, it boils down to me.
But they won't know that you're going for it unless you talk about it. So that's another form of commitment. Mate, I've been talking about this book, I want you to hold me accountable.
Yeah.
Like, if I haven't done this in 6 months, you want to disown me. If I haven't done this, look for ways to micro-commit. I went and hired a videographer to shoot content for a whole day just to get over the fear.
Yeah.
And if I bottled it, I'm like, damn, I'm down 300 quid. But that's commitment now. I'm saying to the universe, no, I'm not going to allow fear, imposter syndrome, all the other bullshit that tries to take you off course. I'm committed to this, getting up. So yeah.
Right, I've got 2 more questions for you. So second and last one is, what is the best piece of sales advice you give to someone starting out? Best piece of advice you had 90 seconds in an elevator to give the best advice you could give.
It's
that helped you.
That is a tough. What helped me then? That makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
Telling is not selling.
Okay.
So 9 times out of 10, people go into a sale trying to pitch their way into it. Features, benefits, it does this, it does that. And that makes the sale all about you, your service.
Yeah.
You have to listen your way into a sale. And the only way you listen your way into a sale is by asking great questions.
Yeah.
So become a master at listening and asking good questions. If you do that, the pitch becomes tailored to what you want rather than me just giving you everything up front. I'll be like, well, okay, what is your actual goal? What's stopping you from getting there? How long have you been in that place for? Let them talk.
So it's almost like finding out my pain.
Pain, yeah. I mean, pain, pleasure. It's about finding out about them and then tailoring the actual pitch towards that. So you listen your way into a sale, and telling is not selling.
Okay, I like that.
Lou knows that already.
Yeah, loser.
Because I've told him that.
Yeah,
and
he's sharp.
he's a beast.
He's a salesman, man.
He's a beast.
And the last one, I end every single episode with, what is your definition of happiness?
My definition of happiness is, I actually love the pursuit of, it sounds crazy, I love being in the pursuit of the person that I want to become. I don't think I've come to accept that I'm never going to be the person, because every time you get to a level, you create a new one.
Level up, yeah.
So happiness for me is growing into the person that I want to become. In pursuit of that every single day.
That question normally flakes everyone. They're like,
No.
that was
Like,
good.
whether it's my family, my missus, I want people to know it's not about financial for me.
Yeah.
It's everything. Like, you need money, yes, but you need money because you want to live a certain lifestyle. So being in consistent pursuit of that makes me happy.
I like that, bro.
Yeah?
Mate, thank you so much for coming. You're a ledge. Thank you so